And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats, elephants and zebras, gypsies and the she. I'm really pissed off. I've been avoiding making this. I've been avoiding saying anything because I don't want to say something and then wind up somebody taking what I say out of context. Yeah, I'm only going to say so much. One of our grandchildren, she has autism. Okay. My wife, well, she had her son before we met, but he was still my son. I mean, I never met him, but since we were married, he was my son. Even if we would not have been married, he would have been my son. Just like my girlfriend, who I now call my wife, her children are my children. When I talk about our children, or when I talk about having children, I mean, I'm talking about Kat, of course, and I'm talking about Carolyn's son. I'm talking about Lisa's children. So when I talk about having kids, I don't have any biological children of my own, but that doesn't mess. One thing I hate about genealogy, unless things have changed, it used to be that when you wrote somebody down, you could only list somebody that you were related to by blood. And I kind of understand why, but I dislike it because my sister is still my sister. My children are still my children. The grandchildren are still my grandchildren. Anyway, I'm trying to think of what to say and not to say because I don't want to give certain information out. Anyway, our granddaughter has autism, and our son took her to a concert. They have a concert over in their town in Vermont. I won't say what town, but they have a concert in town every weekend. Not in the wintertime. You don't have concerts outdoors in the wintertime in New England. Huh? What? Oh, it's on the inside. Sorry, my bad on that one. They were inside. Now, the band owner or leader, he's the owner or the band leader or both. The guy in charge, and that's what matters here, is that he was the guy in charge, and I'm sure he did this in front of people, in front of the band. I mean, so she likes to dance. Okay, our granddaughter likes to dance. She likes the music. She dance. You know what? It doesn't matter if she dances in time to the music or not. She's having fun. She's not hurting anybody. So the band leader said, hey, once you bring her up, she can dance on stage for everybody. And I'm sure people were enjoying that, because she's a good dancer. Anyway, one of the band members pushed her off stage, or tried to. Number one, you just don't do that to somebody. You don't just go put your hands on somebody. If you don't know them, if my girlfriend, if my wife and I are especially not a child. If my wife and I are walking down the street and I touch her shoulder, her hand, that's one thing. If she touches mine, that's one thing. Numero uno, you're not related to this child. Number one, you're not related to the child. Number two, you don't even know this child. You don't even know the child's parents. And number three, she has autism. She doesn't understand the things that you and I understand. Okay? I'm worried that this may affect her. She is able to communicate, not verbally, but she knows some sign language. She knows ASL, or some ASL. I took 4 semesters of it in college. I remember virtually nothing. I learned the manual alphabet when I was a little boy. And I learned a handful of signs when I was young. But that's not speaking sign. So then in college I took 4 semesters of it and I don't remember it. That money and that time, spent. But anyway, so one way she communicates is through sign. Another way she communicates is like it's like, can I give you a hug? And she'll let you know if you can give her a hug or not. Okay? But you don't go up to a child and push them. You definitely don't go up to a disabled child and push them. Trying to push her off stage. She was invited on stage. I don't know what the police are going to do, but that man needs to be arrested or at least charged in a way so that he's going to remember this, so he's not going to do it again. That's it. He either needs to be fined in such a way that he's going to remember that, oh, well, last time I did such and such, or I did this, or I did that, I wound up having to pay a fine of $5,000, $10,000, $100,000, whatever. Or, what I would prefer is he at least spend a week in jail and not segregated. He needs to spend with the general population. Well, you know what? If he's so big, bad, and tough, put him in the same cell block with the street thugs. Put him in with the bad guys. He's so big, bad, and yeah, he's a strong dude. Yeah. Well, see how he deals with the street thugs, the real bad guys. Stick him in there for a few weeks. See what happens. What? Oh, that's a good thought, hon. Yeah. If you didn't hear her, she said that's assault and battery, and I agree. And I'm trying to. I want to say some things in English. I want to say some things in Spanish, and I get confused sometimes. Spanish is my native language. I don't really speak it anymore, but I still know a word or a phrase. I know enough when I'm listening to it that, like, if I'm listening to something that's being translated, sometimes I'm able to say, that's not what the person said. That's, maybe it's close to what the person said, but it's not really what the person said. So, I could not go out and have a conversation with anyone. Okay, maybe at one time I could, because I still spoke Spanish when I was a teenager, but I don't anymore. Hey, boo, buddy. Anyway, so you don't do that to a child. You don't do it to a child. You really don't do it to anybody. If the person, she was invited on stage. She was invited to dance on stage. Your boss invited her on stage. If you didn't like it, you should have talked to him. Okay, eventually she was going to get off stage. If you didn't like it, you talk to the boss. The boss could go to our son or our daughter and say, can you take her off stage now? That would have been the right way to get her off stage, but there was no problem. She was invited. And she is a small child, and she has autism. I hope it doesn't scare the freaking daylights out of her, so next time she's like, oh, I don't even want to go to the event. I've been fuming over this. Thankfully, neither one of us were there. And to be honest with you, I'm actually very proud of our son, because I think there may have been a time where he would not have dealt with it the way he dealt with it. I think he may have dealt with it the way right now I wish I would have if I would have been there. So, which means I probably, well, you know what, I may or may not have been in jail, because I would have been defending her. I would have just been sticking up, defending her, because she was being physically assaulted. How is a little child that, I'm not going to say how old she is, how is a little child that age, and she is a small child, how is an adult let's say me and my wife, if one of us were to go up to her, to our granddaughter, and push her like that, you could hurt her. You could do physical harm to her. She is both young and physically small. Okay, and she probably would not understand if somebody were going to go punch her or slap her. I'm not sure she would understand what was about to happen, so she might not, react in a defensive way. So that's another problem. And I wonder if she was even looking at the person who did that to her. Oh, she actually fell down? Oh, he pushed her off the stage onto the ground. You are not a man. You are not even close to being a man. Huh? Fucking, excuse my language, a blanking bully. Yeah. You know what? I just don't know what to make of people in Vermont. The other day, my wife, went up to the service station, gas station, and some older dude, older than us, and we're already, up there. I'm 118 years old. I'll be 119 in a week. She's driving up, she's not speeding, she's not going too slow, she's just normally driving up, and this older dude just pulls right in there, and then she was getting out of the car. Somebody else saw what happened and say, "Excuse me, sir, but she was trying to get up to the gas pump." And he's like, "I don't care." You don't care? What if somebody did that to you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with people in Vermont? I expect this from massholes, but not from people in Vermont. Not everybody in Massachusetts is a masshole, but they actually have car stickers, bumper stickers that say masshole on them. They call themselves masshole. That should tell you something. But Vermont, I just cannot figure Vermont out, or Vermonters. My late wife, she and I, when we first moved up here, we took this drive. We were, midway or further north in Vermont, and we went to this, and I actually saw it. Me and Lisa, we were driving around, and I noticed the place, and I think I pointed it out to her. My wife and I went in there because it's a little diner car cafe. Oh my goodness. Talking about rude people. Like, jeez. One thing we like to do is go eat breakfast at least once early in the month. We go to a couple of particular restaurants, one in particular, but we've started expanding our circle of restaurants. People talk, the waitresses, the customers. People are talking to each other, talking to the kitchen, the wait staff, the wait staff talking to customers. I actually saw one of the waitresses in the Walmart recently, a few months ago, and I couldn't remember where I knew her from. Thought she was our neighbor, but she's not our neighbor. She works in one of the restaurants. I said hi. She didn't know who I was, but I said hi, and she's like, "Who are you?" But she's nice. I'm not saying she just didn't know who I was. But people are nice. But then, for some reason, you go to Vermont and you have this, 5% of the population of Vermont that just are mean, rude, nasty people, and they make it hard on the rest of Vermonters. And I guess the same is true with Mass. You have probably, I'd say, a good 50% or 80% are massholes, but not all of them. So I'm not gonna, say it. Yeah, no matter where you are, you don't have to act rude and like the problem we have in New Hampshire with people from Massachusetts, the way they drive like bats out of hell, the way they treat people, and it's like, and you're like, you're from Massachusetts, aren't you? Yeah, I am. I'm like, go up yourself, But you don't push a little girl, especially with autism. She's a small framed child, and she's a young child. What? Yeah, she's a very sweet, cute child. But she's our granddaughter. Even if she wasn't our granddaughter, jeez. And I hope the police actually do something about this, because you don't do that. Actually pushing her off stage so she falls down off the stage onto the ground. You're not a man. You are not a man.